It's 24th July, 2000. You're a die-hard Barcelona fan, living and breathing the club's colors. Your idol, the man you've idolized for years, is Luis Figo. He is more than just a player to you, he's a symbol of everything you love about your beloved Blaugrana. But then, in a twist so shocking, Figo does the unthinkable. He joins your all-time rivals, Real Madrid. The man you once worshipped is now the enemy, draped in the white of Los Blancos. Figo's transfer to Real Madrid is just one of the many betrayal stories we will explore in this video. We have players who chose money over passion, and even a Christian player who knew their rivals don't bite Catholics, but still decided to join them. Watch the video till the end and we will reveal all these shocking stories. These are some betrayals that left fans questioning everything they thought they knew about loyalty and devotion. And for Arsenal fans, that bitter taste of betrayal came from none other than Robin van Persie. This prolific Dutch striker had become a Gunners legend, banging in goals left and right and leading the line with passion and skill. But then, in a shocking twist, he jumped ship to their most hated rivals, Manchester United. Van Persie wasn't just any player, he was their talisman, their hero, and he didn't just leave, he went to the enemy camp. It was like a dagger to the heart. Let's rewind a bit and set the scene. The year was 2012 and Van Persie's contract with Arsenal was winding down. Negotiations were underway to extend his stay, but things took an ugly turn when whispers started circulating about Manchester United's interest. And not just interest, they were ready to break the bank to land the Dutchman. This was more than just a transfer, it was a bitter betrayal of the highest order. And then the unthinkable happened. Van Persie put pen to paper and officially became a Manchester United player. Arsenal fans were left reeling, their hearts shattered into a million pieces. To make matters worse, their former hero went on to have a sensational debut season at Old Trafford, scoring 26 goals and leading United to the Premier League title. But it wasn't just the transfer itself that stung, it was the way Van Persie conducted himself afterwards. In interviews, he gushed about how he had always dreamed of playing for Manchester United, as if his time at Arsenal meant nothing. It was a slap in the face to the fans who had idolized him for years, and overnight Van Persie went from beloved icon to the biggest traitor. His name was mud in North London, and Arsenal supporters took great pleasure in burning his jerseys and sending insults his way. The once adored striker had become a public enemy. But this betrayal might not be as bad as this next one. Imagine it's the FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford, and your team's star player, the one player you've been counting on to lead the charge, is warming up on the pitch. But then, disaster strikes. Your hero goes down with an injury, and just like that, your dreams of glory are shattered. For Tottenham Hotspur fans, that nightmare scenario played out in excruciating detail back in 2001. The player in question, none other than the legendary Sol Campbell. Campbell was more than just a defender for Spurs, he was an icon, a symbol of the club's fighting spirit and determination. From the moment he burst onto the scene as a precocious youngster, he had the fans eating out of the palm of his hand. But on that fateful day at Old Trafford, everything changed. Campbell's ankle injury not only ended his season, but also set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to one of the most shocking transfers in Premier League history. As the summer transfer window approached, rumors started circulating that Campbell's contract talks with Spurs had hit a roadblock. The club was willing to make him one of the highest-paid players in their history, but Campbell's demands were proving too rich for their blood. And then the bombshell dropped. In a move that sent shockwaves through the footballing world, Sol Campbell decided to join Tottenham's bitter rivals Arsenal. The reaction from Spurs fans was nothing short of volcanic. They felt betrayed, deceived, and utterly heartbroken. This was a player who had bled for their colors, a player who had captained them to glory, a player who had become the embodiment of what it meant to be a Tottenham man. And now he was joining the enemy. As Campbell made his way to Highbury for his unveiling, he was greeted by a scene straight out of a nightmare. Thousands of Spurs fans lined the streets, holding banners with the words Judas and burning effigies of him. In the years that followed, Campbell would go on to become an integral part of Arsenal's success, winning 2 Premier League titles and 2 FA Cups. But for Spurs fans, the wound never truly healed. If you thought this betrayal was bad, you're not ready for this next one. Have you ever felt so betrayed by someone that it left a scar on your soul? For Celtic fans, that's exactly the feeling they experienced when Mo Johnston crossed the ultimate line and joined their bitter rivals, Rangers. In 1989, Celtic was in the midst of a bitter battle for supremacy with Rangers. The rivalry between these two Glasgow giants was more than just a sporting clash. It was a clash of cultures, identities, and deeply rooted beliefs. Mo Johnston, a boyhood Celtic fan and former Parkhead hero, was right at the center of it all. But then, in a twist so shocking that it still sends shivers down the spines of Celtic fans, he made the unthinkable decision to join the Rangers. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a transfer, right? Players move clubs all the time. But for Celtic fans, this was more than just a transfer. It was a betrayal they could have never imagined. You see, Rangers had a long-standing and deeply controversial policy of not signing Catholic players.
Every Rangers manager before me had been asked the question, would you sign a Catholic?
Johnston, a proud Catholic himself, was well aware of this fact. And yet, he still chose to cross the divide and put on that blue jersey. The reaction from Celtic fans was swift and merciless. Effigies were burned, shirts were torn, and a collective sense of heartbreak and anger swept through the Celtic Park. How could one of their own, a man who had once been idolized and adorned, turn his back on them in such a brutal fashion? As the years passed, Johnston's every appearance for Rangers was met with a torrent of abuse from Celtic fans. He had become the embodiment of betrayal, a living, breathing reminder of the depths to which loyalty could be sacrificed. Next up is the one you've all been waiting for, the legend of betrayals himself, Luis Figo. Betrayal, a single word that carries so much weight, so much pain, and when it comes to the beautiful game of football, few betrayals cut deeper than that of Luis Figo's move from Barcelona to Real Madrid. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Figo was a god among men on the pitch, a Portuguese maestro who graced the Camp Nou with his silky skills and audacious flair. For Barcelona fans, he was more than just a player. He was an icon, a symbol of everything they held dear. But then, in the summer of 2000, the unthinkable happened. Figo, the man who had been revered and adored by the Blaugrana, decided to turn his back on them and join their bitter rivals, Real Madrid. It was a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the world of football. How could such a player who had achieved such a legendary status at Barcelona even think of such a move? The answer, as it so often is in the world of professional sports, came down to money. Florentino Perez, the newly elected president of Real Madrid, was on a mission to assemble a team of Galacticos, and Figo, with his undeniable talent, was at the top of his shopping list. Perez agreed to meet Figo's release clause of 60 million euros, making him the most expensive player in the world at the time. It was a move that would secure Figo's financial future for generations to come, but at what cost? For Barcelona fans, Figo's decision was an unforgivable act of betrayal. The name Figo became a dirty word in the city of Barcelona. And yet, despite the vitriol and animosity, Figo pressed on. He embraced his new role as a Galactico, donning the famous white shirt of Real Madrid and taking to the pitch against his former teammates and friends. For Barcelona fans, the wound of Figo's betrayal will remain eternal. Because sometimes the scars of betrayal run too deep. No betrayal can come close to this, but here's one that left Arsenal fans shattered. In pro football, loyalty is like a product that's traded for money, and Ashley Cole is a perfect example of this. Once a beloved figure at Arsenal, Cole's reputation took a nosedive when he made the controversial decision to join their bitter rivals Chelsea. To understand the depth of the outrage, we need to go back to the summer of 2005. Arsenal, fresh off their historic invincible season, were basking in the glow of their success, and at the heart of that triumph was Ashley Cole, a young, dynamic left-back who had emerged as one of the best in the business. But as contract negotiations dragged on, cracks began to appear in Cole's relationship with the club. Arsenal were unwilling to meet the player's wage demands, setting the stage for a standoff that would ultimately lead to his departure. In the midst of this turmoil, rumors began to swirl that Cole had been caught meeting with representatives from Chelsea, a move that was seen as the ultimate act of betrayal by Arsenal fans. Cole was a player who had been nurtured and developed by the club. Even the thought of him joining their most hated rivals had Arsenal fans going crazy. The backlash was merciless. The media criticized Cole, calling him a mercenary and a traitor. Arsenal fans who used to admire him now saw him as a symbol of everything that was wrong with modern football. They thought he cared more about money than staying loyal to the club. And then in the summer of 2006, the unthinkable happened. Ashley Cole made the move to Chelsea, leaving Arsenal fans feeling utterly betrayed. From that moment on, Cole became an enemy in the eyes of Arsenal supporters. And in the end, his choice proved right, as he won a Premier League title, 4 FA Cups, Europa League, and a Champions League with Chelsea. The Ashley Cole story is a reminder of the brutal realities of modern football. It's a world where loyalty is a commodity to be traded, and even the most beloved players can become villains in the blink of an eye. And for Arsenal fans, the sting of Cole's betrayal still lingers to this day. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. What are your biggest betrayals in football history? Any names you want featured in a part 2 video, let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep enjoying the beautiful game, and remember, loyalty is worth more than any trophy.